Hi, I'm Rob Scott from CX Today, and thank you for joining us. Today, I'm here with Michael McCloskey, CEO of Bright Pattern, to dive into an important debate in the contact center world, cloud versus on-premises. Michael will be sharing his insights on why deployment flexibility matters more than ever and how Bright Pattern is setting a new standard with its unique have it your way approach. So stay tuned to learn why this choice is critical for CX leaders and what organizations can do to navigate the complexities of today's tech landscape. Welcome, Michael. How's things?
Great, Rob. How about you?
Really good. Yeah, excited to talk to you today. So thank you so much for joining me. Let's dive straight in, Michael. In today's rapidly evolving tech landscape, why do you think so many CCaaS providers or cloud contact centers or service providers are pushing for cloud-only solutions? And what's driving this trend, and what potential downsides are there for customers?
Yeah, I think, when you look at the contact center market, most of these vendors have started, on-prem. So years and years ago in the 1990s, 2000s, most of them, were on-prem. And gradually they saw a mega trend towards the cloud. And most people have then, kind of transitioned to the cloud. But one of the things that did happen is these original prem solutions were never built for the cloud. So they had to build an entirely new product. So if you look at most of the legacy vendors, they've actually had to abdicate that market because they wanted to go to one platform. In order to do that, they chose the cloud platform. So I think, we're still seeing about half the market still be prem. So some of the largest call centers in the world, remain on the prem. But as you said, most of the major vendors have transitioned, to the cloud.
Yeah, and Bright Pattern is unique in offering a feature-rich, unified platform that works both in the cloud and on premises. So, can you share the philosophy behind this have it your way approach and why you feel like it's a game changer for contact centers?
Yeah, when we designed this product, it was always designed to be a multi-tenant cloud product. But one of the design criteria that we wanted to achieve is to have this be agnostic in terms of what infrastructure it ran on. So, for instance, today, 95% of our business is cloud, but we're able to run on any infrastructure. So we can run on Google, so GCP, we can run in Azure, we can run on bare metal, we can run on Amazon. So we have clusters all over the world. But one of the things that gave us an advantage of is if somebody did want to run in a private cloud environment, they can run in that environment and it's the exact same software. So whereas most of our competitors, use two different products, one for cloud, one for prem, our solution is equally good in either environment.
Nice. So that sounds really flexible. Data sovereignty is also an issue, isn't it? And regulatory compliance and security are always major concerns for a lot of organizations. How does Bright Pattern's flexible deployment, model address these challenges better than, potentially a cloud-only solution?
Well, there's certain environments where you cannot run cloud. So, for instance, there's certain jurisdictions, or there might be certain legal requirements. So, for instance, in Korea, financial services companies are required not to run in cloud, so they've got to run on-prem. There's also the same thing in other geographies as well, where based on regulatory environments, maybe it's on security, maybe it's on data sovereignty. You've got to keep all the information kind of on-prem, in that country. There's also another issue that kind of raises its head once in a while too. We have certain customers that are partners, and in certain regions they'll run on cloud, but they'll have certain customers in certain regions for the reasons we just talked about that you have to run on-prem. And so since our software is the same in either environment, we can really satisfy those customers really, really well.
That's great. And with AI, we can't go through a conversation nowadays without talking about AI. So with AI transforming the contact center industry as we know it, what role does Bright Pattern's AI suite play in your platform? And can you talk us through some of these AI capabilities and how seamless are they between these on-prem and cloud solutions?
Yeah, I think for us, as I said, it's the same software. And so whether you're running on-prem or in the cloud, we basically use various AI tools. So for instance, we use Google, we use Amazon, we use various Microsoft to power our environment. But one of the things that we've done is we've tried to build our software to satisfy various use cases. So for instance, we have transcription, of course. We have summarization and note-taking, so to speed up the amount of time it takes an agent to wrap up a call. We have agent assist to give suggestions. We have auto scoring to score interactions and agents. And then we have interaction analytics for intents. And so we'll build a whole suite of products, for the contact center to achieve these different sorts of use cases.
Yeah, that makes good sense. And I just want to jump back to what you said around, different countries and, everyone's got a different choice in how they want their infrastructure. I mean, can you discuss some of the industries or regions where on-premises deployments are still really essential and share some examples of how Bright Pattern, has successfully addressed their needs with your technology?
Sure. I mean, there's a couple that come to mind right away. One is we have a partner in Korea called Naver. Naver is the Google of Korea, so to speak. And they resell our product and market our product. We signed through them the second largest credit card company called Card that now has almost 2,000 agents on it. And they were required to run on-prem or, in this case, private cloud, which is very, very, very similar. And so, based on regulatory environments and keeping the data there, and they wanted to use the local AI from Naver, those are all reasons why they had to run on cloud, on-prem. We have another large, Saudi partner that just services kind of public sector and financial services. And both of those industries are highly regulated. And so they have to keep data in country, but they also have to run on-prem as well. And so, these various countries and these various regulatory environments really dictate, what kind of product or what kind of infrastructure they need to run on.
Yeah, and one of the key advantages you've mentioned is Bright Pattern's seamless transition capability between on-premises and cloud deployment. So how does this work in practice? What makes your solution different from other providers out there?
I think we're just designed differently. I think that when people, built for prem, they built specifically for prem. When they built, their new products for cloud, they basically went away from a prem kind of a solution. But the way we're architected is we run in either one. And so, Naver's a good example, for instance, where, that's private cloud. We're running in the Naver cloud. Most of our international customers, we run them on AWS. But in those geographies where, it has to be, private cloud or prem, we run in data centers that are in that geography. And so I think that our design criteria was much, much different and I think really much more forward thinking than most of our competitors.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what advice would you give to CX leaders and technology decision makers who are evaluating their contact center infrastructure right now? And what should they be prioritizing when choosing between a cloud or on-premises solution? And how could they potentially future-proof their investment?
Well, I think the first thing is, what is the regulatory environment? I think that some of these choices are just by regulatory environment. So, for instance, if in the case of Naver or Card, they had to run, on-prem, it's really not a choice. It's really, something that they just have to do. I think we also see some other very, very large companies that also have many, many different integrations. They might be concerned about security, et cetera. They all have chosen, or many of them have chosen to be on-prem as well. So if you look at the largest contact centers in the world, most of those are still on-prem. And that's because, again, they have so many. It could be regulatory environment, it could be integrations, it could be data security, it could just be more control. And I think the other thing is cost. I think that, if you're running your own data center and it's very, very efficient, it's likely to be lower cost than running in the cloud.
Yeah, it certainly, it all makes sense. I mean, the trend is cloud, isn't it? But, the reality is there's still a whole bunch of organizations out there on-prem because they simply can't move or too complex or they have those regulatory requirements that you're talking about. So, yeah, it makes perfect sense. I don't think we're ever going to be 100% cloud in the world, are we? So.
Exactly.
And I suppose that's a nice segue to my next question is looking ahead. Where do you see the market going in terms of balancing cloud innovation with the need for on-premises solutions? And do you think the demand for on-premises deployments will continue, or is there a potential shift to full cloud coming?
I think that there's definitely a continued market for cloud. I mean, for prem, on-prem, for instance, is still probably 45-50% of the market today. And for the reasons that you and I discussed, I think that one of the advantages that we have as a company, since we have a very, very modern kind of AI-powered architecture, we have a really big advantage over our legacy vendors. Because if you look at the legacy vendors that have been in place for 10 or 20 years, I mean, there was really no AI at the time to speak of. There wasn't really, these different kinds of infrastructures like that we have that were available at that time. So I think there'll continue to be a very, very big market. And as we've seen some of our competitors sort of move away from that, it's actually provided an opportunity for Bright Pattern to kind of step in and provide a much more advanced solution than they have been used to using in the past. So I think there's a great opportunity there. I think there's obviously still a great opportunity in cloud, but I think that having both, really gives us a competitive advantage in the marketplace.
Yeah, and I wish you all the best for that. That's all we've got time for today, unfortunately, but a big thank you to Michael for sharing these valuable insights on the future of contact center technology and importance of deployment flexibility. And for those of you tuning in, we hope this discussion has given you some food for thought as you consider your own contact center and wider CX strategies. So as always, stay connected with us at CX Today for more industry insights and expert interviews. I'm Rob Scott from CX Today. Thanks for watching.